Hey, welcome, all my right thinkers. Thanks for tuning in to check out your boy P Funk. Thinking right out here in the lab, and I'm in the book. It's a little sun is up right now, but I got a nice little lesson. We're still talking about God. This is gonna be God, 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 God. From now on, the lesson's gonna be all God. This is gonna be a nice one, so let's get ready. Rightisms, 25 rule to live by. Storytelling, story with a message. There's a message in my stories for life. I give you life lessons. You tune in and receive them. I appreciate you. We got a good thing going. Let's do what we do. Right thinking mission is to enlighten, inspire, educate, and motivate you, the individual, to a higher spiritual level of enlightenment. Right thinking's way of life through mental and spiritual discipline, practice daily, will help and guide you to obtain your goal of reaching spiritual enlightenment, aka know thyself. My mission is that all right thinkers know thyself. If you're a right thinker, your goal is to know thyself. See where we're going with this? Let's get there together. So I asked the question, do you know you? When I'm through, that's what I do. It's rhetorical because if you don't have to answer for yourself, tune in. I got you. A person who knows not and knows not that they know not is foolish. Disregard them. A person who knows not and knows that they know not is simple, but you can teach them. That's why I do what I do for you. Appreciate you too. Stay tuned. I got more for you. A person who knows not and believe and think that they know is dangerous. Avoid them. I do. A person who knows and knows not that they know is spiritually asleep. I can awaken them. I'm the spiritual alarm clock here to wake you up with knowledge of self. That's what I do for you. A person who knows and knows that they know is wise. Follow them. All these persons reside in you. Right thinkers, know thyself and to my yard be true. We rolling. This is the title, right thinkers. Let's talk about the anonymous ancient Egyptian supreme being in the pre-dynastic time to the end of what they call the dynastic period. So this is going to be the gods before the gods that we know of, so to speak. Let me break it down for you. Let's go. It's about to be fun. The pre-dynastic period of the Egyptian history is referred to in the pyramid text utterance 570 as the time before the battle of Haru and Set. Remember, Haru and Set is the battle that's in me and you. Okay? Lower nature, Set, high nature, Haru. That with the fight in man. We talk about before that. They said these are guys that before the battle of Haru and Set. That means before man came around. Okay? Meaning prehistory or the time before the mythology of what we call duality. God, remember, Amun. Y'all still call that name at the prayer, Amen. But Amun represents the hidden essence of God in the spirit that's in all things. They combine Amun with Ra, that thing up in the sky. Amen is hidden. Ra is visible, but Ra is supposed to mean Ra, the vitality, the sun, the fire, that hydrogen that burns and burns and don't stop. That's what's inside of us. We got a spark of that inside of us. Again, all this is mythological and conceptual, but they break it down so you can at least explain it and hope somebody who can understand it, grasp it, and understand it. Some people say, I ain't got time for that. Okay, that's fine. But God Amun is known as what? The supreme being, the hidden one. And these are the attributes of God from everybody. The formless. God is formless, nameless, boundless, all encompassing, eternal, immortal, hidden, only one, universal, who has no second, no mate, no opposite, no duality, all encompassing both male and female aspects in the one primordial being, self created, right there. That's the ticket that excites me. We can't self create. Where did that idea come from? Who gave it to us? How did that come by? Then you got the aliens who created hybrid, man, all that nonsense about the laboratory. See, but the self created one, I feel more better with that. The creator, what, of all things and of all other gods. I can understand that. I can follow that law. It makes sense. Okay. So the one who is permanent, the one who abides, this is Amun, the underlying reality in the world of time and space, the one who lives upon, you ready? Maya, the God of many names, we call him by a bunch of names. All of this already been played out, immutable and manifold, and no one knows their number, no birth date, though God can be seen. I just did a lesson about the third eye. Your third eye can see God. That's the spiritual eye. That connects us to God. That's his transmitter in his creation. He ain't separate from us. He's part of us. That's why I don't mess with the religious concept. You got God up high. I don't do that. All right. But the concept, again, but he can be seen how? In the form and observation of God can be made at what? At God's appearance. What the hell you mean, God's appearance? Calm down, relax. God cannot be understood, meaning comprehend. God cannot even be seen. Here we go, right here. With what? With mortal eyes. These are mortal eyes. These can only see that way. This third eye is an eternal eye. That's where God dwells. You can see God inside yourself. That's the whole concept. That's the idea. And it's an actual eye. Okay? And it's in the darkness, but it still shines. That's what God did in the new. I put all that down in my lesson. These are things that from studying and learning, you understand. Now I'm teaching, so I'm trying to get you to understand it from a perspective. If you haven't studied it, haven't read it, I'm just trying to give you a little breakdown. And if you're interested, do your due diligence. Go a little deeper. Find something out for yourself. That's what going deep is. You going for yourself to find out about yourself. This is all about you. Remember, and again, God is invisible and inscrutable to who? Gods as well as men. The principles, the rules, they don't give a crap. They just function under the rules that they were given. Shu, which is air. He's just air. That's it. Tough note. What? Just right. Every element is just the element. When we become individuals in the human, in the flesh, we have this thing right here. Mind. We have consciousness. We have memory, and we have imagination. But we also have the present. And from the birth time we born to the first 7 years, we're building up identity. We're building up an environment. Hence, products of our environment. The environment that you grew up in the first 7 years sets the tone for what kind of person you're going to be. You're the one who had to change that in your time, in your way. That's all. But the people who raise you, they just doing their job as a parent. Okay? It's up to you to grasp it, understand it, and use it. Life lessons is what you can live with to survive. That's what I gave my kids. Not a whole bunch of no, just life. All the rest of it, you can go out in the world, go to college, do what you want to do. But I'm just giving you the real deal from I know it, the way I know it. That's all. So now let's talk about, excuse me, let's talk about this thing God. Here, right here, there's a little schedule. They got schematics. I'm about to break it down. You got the Panetta, the high God, the next God down. Okay, we got a few God, the layers of gods. Okay, but they're all aspects of the same one God. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry about that. In ancient times, there was a concept. Again, this was their concept, their philosophy, their mythology, but they had a concept, what they called the unmanifest supreme self, which was termed as the followers. The Panetta, Pa meaning the, Netta, God. That Panetta right there, bam, that's the God. That's it. That's Amun, that's the God. That's the unmanifest. That's the concept, the idea of God. Naburcha now is this guy right here. This picture of what the Naburcha looks like. Okay. I'll show you this right quick. Now, this is the attributes of God. You see all that headgear? You see all the regalia? Though you see all of that? That's what the attributes of God all encompassing means. That's the Naburcha. We call it, my man said, he's suited and booted. He got everything. All the attributes he wears in display. That's him. Okay, that's the Naburcha. Okay, that's the what they call the all-encompassing supreme being. We giving him identity. We bringing him to form so we can identify with him and understand him. Now, who is it? Amun, the hidden one. God is hidden. Where? Inside his creation. Here and here. The pineal gland is his other spot. The hidden one, that's what Amun means. Neter, Neteru, God or gods. From Amun comes everything else. Amun hidden, the Trinity of God, the pyramid. This is Amun. This is Ra. This is Ptah. This is the embodiment of. They got all different kind of ways to break down the pyramid. I'm just doing my concept for the Trinity of God. That's what makes it God. And this is the strongest foundation known to man. First of all, it will stand forever. That's why they still stand. They proved that point too. All right. They say people worry about fear time. Time fear the pyramids. Why? Because they don't give. Okay. They don't sway. They don't bend. They don't back. They stand firm. Okay, that's the foundation. That's what God represents. Okay, I hope you get that understanding. So now I'm going to give you the following is the list of what we call the primary high gods, supreme beings, which we gave name and form to the manifestation of the one high God from the late period of the pre-dynastic period all the way up to the end of the dynastic times of ancient Egypt. These are names that you're familiar with. Okay, the first one is Haru. Haru has been God's spirit incarnated in man since the beginning. That's why I say it's the spirit that's in me and you. Okay, that's the story. And Hathar, Haru, that's the house of Haru. The spirit is in the women too. Okay, the great he, she. They are the hawk symbol, the falcon-headed God is Haru. The cow-headed God is Hathar. Haru, they call it. Okay, thus called zoomorphic. Body, human, head of animal. But the falcon head represented the highest of all heights. Spirit, look up the peregrine falcon. That's the baddest thing in the air. Okay? That's why your spirit is signified by that. And the cow is signified as the life giver of birth. We still drink cow milk. I don't mess with them more, but cow is important. That's the great cow. And Hathor had the head of the cow with the sun disc and the horns. They have, in India, the cows are sacred. Okay? We have respect for the cow also. They got the concept from us. Then you got Ra. That's the sun. But in human form, he's what they call transition from the hawk-headed human. He's a body of a man, but his head is of the falcon. This is the hawk. The falcon and the hawk, pretty much the same thing. But they call him Ra Harakti. Okay, that's him in human form. Walk around with the falcon head. All right. Then you have the combination God, Amen Ra, hidden, visible. So they come together and become one God. They call that the transition, which, the early form, Ra was considered the ram-headed God. And if you look at the zodiac, the ram is the head, okay, of all the gods. So he's God, Father, all that God. But the concept, yeah, he's the ram-headed. The horns you see going like that, that's Ra. And with the moon and the sun disk, he had the sun disk on top and the moon. The moon, half crescent moon with the sun disk, all that. He had everything encompassed him, let you know who he is. And later on, dynastic form, he's just a man with the two big plumes, okay? But in Ra signified what? The sun, he has the falcon head with the sun disk over his head. That's how you know him with the Uraeus. That's Ra. And his everything was dealt from the neck up to identify who there was. Now, Ptah, the third part of the Trinity of the gods, the hidden, the seen, the sustainer. Okay, the sun, without sun, we got nothing. So he's the sustainer. Now, when do God become us? Ptah, he uttered himself into existence through heart and mind concepts, and he created himself and created the world from a thought and his emotions and his utterance of words of power. All this is mythological stories. But Ptah has a wife, Sekhmet. Ptah is a man standing up with the skull cap on, okay, with the stick in his hand. He represented the backbone of Asar, but he also represents what? High knowledge and understanding. He's the true craftsman. His wife, Sekhmet, has a lion head. See, there we go. And understanding. The Nabercha, which is Amen Ra Ptah, Hathor, anthropomorphic signs, all these are aspects of the same one God. Tim or Atum. When the sun rises in the morning, the three phases of life, what starts out at 4 goes to 2 and ends up on 3. Man, you crawling from the infant, you get on your own 2 feet, you prime, and at the end of life, you need a walking stick to help you out. So that's the story. That was old to get into Egypt, the riddle of the Sphinx. But the thing goes, in the morning, the sunrise is Khepri. That's the scarab head beetle. That's the man with the scarab head. He represents what? New life, creation. The scarab come out the dung, full grown, ready to go. Okay, they don't know, they come out ready to go. But the scarab beetle, he represents new life, so that's the scarab head. And at high noon, at sunrise is Khepri. You got 3 phases. Khepri in the morning, Ra at high noon. Everybody knows where's Horus up top. He's right over us. Okay, that's the noon sun. That's where he had his strongest. Now he's starting to decline. He's going down. When he gets to the west, he becomes Atum. That's the old man going into so-called death. Okay, of the sun. Right? It's going into the Dua where he's got to do something else. But right then, that's the 3 phases of Ra. They break it down for you. And Atum is completely anthropomorphic. And then we get us, Asar and Aset. For Christians, Adam and Eve. Okay, but Asar represents the spirit falling into matter. That's man in the flesh. Spirit becomes matter. Aset, his sister wife, represents intuitive knowledge. These are all parts of your thinking process. So let's start with that. The spirit that's in us, in the mindset, is Aset. That's the heart mind marriage you got to have within yourself. Maybe a little too much for you, but sorry about to get that concept in. In the earliest of times, the concept, we keep saying that concept, theory, theology, it just means that we're coming up with something to try to teach and explain. Remember, myths try to explain the unexplainable. So we had the concept of God. In the Egyptian mythology, again, was present in 2 basic forms, with name and form, and then one without name or form. Panetta, without name or form, or the supreme being, refers to this nameless, formless understanding, while the deities such as Asar and Aset are examples of the divine with a specific name and form. Again, to teach, to show, understand. As the evolution of our ancient Egyptian civilization progressed through the dynastic period, there were many depictions of the divine in many other forms. Again, I just told you that. However, none of these forms were thought of as the absolute or the real and in of themselves. We knew that these were aspects of God. We knew the emanations. We knew that. Okay. Rather, they were presented by the ancient Egyptian sages as ways to what? To promote and get the understanding of the different aspect of God, aka the divine. Thus, each depiction is in reality like a veil, which enables you to gaze upon something which would turn your mind towards God. However, like a veil, the images also have a depth which can be seen with the outer symbol form is understood and seen with the proper light of intuitional vision. Hello? Signs and symbols. I know what this means. I know what this means. I know Masonic emblems mean. I got understanding of those hidden messages, esoteric learnings for those occult signs. Not all of them are occult signs, but they have meaning. And if you understand, you can decipher, you can understand what they mean. Simple. But without a vision, meaning you can see it. You see the sign. I see cars with Sonic tags on them. I know they're Masons. Simple. Ethnic group, gravity signs, fish people, all that stuff. That's all emblems. It's signs for people, let people who know who you are. I'm rocking pyramids in the eye. I'm conscious. I'm an Egyptian, conceptualized. Okay? Simple. But now, through what? Daily and intense study of these teachings, and I've done just that to master them, and their inner meanings, the esoteric meaning, as well as the practice of them, put them into use in my life, and spiritually living discipline according to these teachings of right thing philosophy or yoga concept, you, the human being, can now develop the light of intuitional vision by opening up your third eye, becoming conscious, okay, which will break what? The veil of ignorance. Ding, 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 ding. The veil is ignorance. You can't see through the veil of ignorance. Why? Because you're ignorant. You don't see. You can't see nothing. And that's the ignorance that blocks a person's true ability to see the divine. That's why the ignorant, the profound, will never know God. No matter what religion you profess, it's always the same thing. That's what they're saying. I get it. Now let me wrap it up. Take it on in. It is important for you to understand the difference between what we call duality and non-duality. Duality, again, is viewing a separation between the soul and God. Big mistake. They're one and the same. That's when you become conscious. Your soul knows that it's God within your consciousness. That's the deal. And mistake is what? Separate yourself from God. That's what religion does. That's why I don't mess with it. So what this means is, watch this. It means you seeing two distinct personalities, which is non-duality, is a recognition that really, in reality, there is no separation, no duality between what? The human heart and the conscious of mind, God's conscious. Why? Indeed, they are one and the same. We got this. He give you that. You got to figure this part out. That's your job. That's what the whole point about having human experience is, to figure it out for yourself, who you are, or remember who you are, whichever way you want to look at. But you got to do it for yourself. Why? To stop the cycle of reincarnation and going on back and ascending to stay for what? Eternity, knowing who you are forever. Excuse me. I'm gonna be me for the rest of my life. Can you say that? He can't. Moving on. Just making it clear. Wrapping it up. I don't care. I use anybody as an example to tell the truth. That's just bottom line. That's a fact. And this is the point I make right here. This is the realization, the true awakening that comes from spiritual enlightenment. When practiced and correctly and pursue in the right manner, you will reach a level that our ancient Egyptians, the symbol for, watch this, the symbol for our soul, it's the same symbol for God. What'd that tell you? They're one and the same. Hello, bye, Nika. Hope you enjoyed the lesson. I'm just here breaking it down for you. Oh, I'll be right back. But now we about to go into what they call the oneness of God. Okay? Becoming one with God. I'm trying to get you there, so I'm doing my job. Right thinkers and closers. May you all live to be 100, me 100, minus a day. So I never know my right thinkers who now understand what the gods, okay, from ancient times have passed away. God has been God since God been God. Man had been changing and putting God, capitalizing, personalizing God. No, don't do that. Just understand it and become one with Him. That's the name of the game. That's the lesson. I'm out.